My name is Megan Girvin, Assistant Director of Nursing of AmeriStaff Nursing Services. Today we're going to do another episode of Boomer Health at Home. Today we have Nate Furlong, the owner, proprietor. Tell us about WellFit Life and your role there.
Yeah, so I own WellFit Life. I started it about 9 years ago now, and the main goal of the business was that I had messed my body up pretty intensely, skydiving in college actually, and over the years I had to figure out how to get myself out of pain. And so for me, figuring out that fitness and wellness was a lot more about being able to live a healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life so you can do what you want to do was the whole reason we started the business. So we work with a lot of people all over the age spectrum, but the number one client that we have in here that we work with is people whose main focus is, I want to stay out of pain, I want to keep moving, and I want to be well and fit for the rest of my life.
Very nice. So that ties in perfectly to what we'd like to discuss today, which is exercising with injuries. So in my line of work as a nurse, I get to see a lot of beautiful injuries, not so fun. Some last a lifetime and other ones, are very short term. So what can you say about what type of injuries are you seeing for clients that are over 65 years old?
So a lot of what we see is some of the accumulation of people having been diagnosed with multiple different injuries. And so I'd say that the number one thing that we come against is helping people to restructure the mentality towards they are not defined by their diagnosis. And the difficulty is even something, let's talk about arthritis for a second. So when someone gets diagnosed with arthritis, they think of it as a death sentence of, oh, well, my joint is going to hurt forever. And when you actually look at the medical terminology, arthritis means inflammation of the joint. And so that's not really a medical diagnosis. It's just telling you that you have some inflammation in your joint. So there's a lot of people who come in where if we do a little bit of stretching or a little bit of foam rolling, which is probably my favorite tool for anybody over 60, a little bit of gentle foam rolling with a soft foam roller, not the super intense rumble rollers or any of that. You can actually help to rehydrate your connective tissue and get your connective tissue healing itself. What I find for people over 60 is that as you get older, your body starts to lose its ability to repair itself as well as it did when you were younger. And so the effects of aging are actually someone's body breaking down faster than it can repair. And there are things that you can do through movement, through foam rolling, hydration, nutrition to increase your body's ability to repair and heal itself. In the end, we don't really fix people. We help people's bodies do what they do best and get out of its way.
Very nice. And I think too, a lot of people think with arthritis that, like you're saying, it's a death sentence because it used to be that they would tell people, stay in bed, don't move. When now we find out that it's actually the exact opposite. You want to actually be moving around, especially in the morning, get everything flowing. And it really helps. I mean, personally, I have arthritis. I'm not over 65, but getting moving in the morning and like you're saying, foam rolling, I mean, it helps an extreme amount. Now, in terms of patients that maybe they're going to be going for a surgery, like we see patients on our side that we do some private pay physical therapies and such to get them in shape for a surgery that's upcoming. Do you guys see any patients that maybe have a rotator cuff tear? They're going to have a hip surgery and they want to be in the best shape that they can be prior to going into surgery?
Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing to remember, you brought up something really interesting, and it's the biggest point to consider is that if you're over 60, that our understanding of human movement has changed dramatically in the last 5 to 10 years. And so there's a whole bunch of mentalities that someone over 60 might have towards their body because they were taught what we knew at the time. And so what's really worthwhile is that when you get involved with a fitness professional or a rehab professional, they might give you updated information because this field of human movement is evolving as fast as technology will allow. We're doing more dissections with cadavers and all that stuff. So that's the first thing I would say is if you have learned a pattern for movement or an idea that you should just sit down if you have discomfort that was learned 10 plus years ago, there's updated science that needs to be learned. The second one is if you're prepping for surgery, you have to look where you're at. So if you're in a position right now where you're prepping for surgery and most of your life is spent sitting down, I think a pedometer, something that tracks your steps, is a really good tool for people to use once you get over 60, because it can be easier to sit down more often because you're not taking care of kids most of the time. Taking care of, in my situation, I have 4 kids. So you're not running after a 2-year-old through 11-year-old all the time. If you're in a situation where you're not really walking around very much, just the simple act of making sure that you get up several times a day to go for a 5 to 10 minute walk can give you some benefits that will help you recover from the surgery. So before we talk about specific exercises that you can do, first one is, if you need to get in a little bit better shape, just move slightly more. We're going to give parameters for that. If you can get yourself moving, walking, 20 minutes a day, work up to getting yourself walking 20 minutes a day. It'll get your connective tissue working better. It'll get your strength up. It'll get your cardio up, and all of that stuff will help you rehab and heal from an injury. The second really easy one to prep is if you can do any kind of a yoga. A lot of people think immediately about lifting weights to get stronger, but the connective tissue around your muscle can actually restrict your muscle from getting stronger. So if you're, I don't know, let's say that you're hunched over, an example, and you start doing just a little bit of gentle chair yoga that's targeted at your age demographic, and you get a little bit more open, that ability to move will make you stronger because your body will be moving through a bigger range of motion. You don't even have to pick up a weight. So first one would be get moving. Second one would be get involved with some kind of gentle yoga. And then the third one, if you feel like you've got some good flexibility, you've got a base of strength, is to get involved with some weightlifting, where you just simply do one set of 10 repetitions of an exercise and get your muscles to get some kind of burning in them. You do that one time a week, that'll be enough to get you stronger. So basic moving more, gentle yoga, one set of 10 of each set of exercise will help you to prep for surgery. And then if you want to go beyond that, I think strength training gets a lot more complicated. That's when you want to start getting a little bit more guidance.
Like you were saying, doing a little bit at a time. I think a lot of people, they start an exercise routine and they think they have to go and really hit it hard. And in reality, they should slow go it, kind of walk it up, correct?
Yeah, that was really, as we work with people here, the number one thing that, because our facility focuses around people's wellness and fitness for the rest of your life, helping people to understand that every small decision you make that is slightly more active, slightly healthier for nutrition, slightly healthier for helping you to get cardio, every time you make a small decision like that, it has a cumulative benefit. So even the act of, they talk about the simple process of, I'm going to park 10 more spaces away instead of next to the door. That one little act is, 50 more steps than you would have taken, and it contributes towards a healthier you. And more people need to be proud of themselves for making very small decisions.
I think that's very true. On the nursing perspective side, we've seen where, I used to work in the ICU, and we actually found that, we started movement right off the bat. Even if you were still ventilated, if you could walk down the hallway, we were walking you on the ventilator. If you're completely out of it, we sat you up in the bed just so you could, support your own trunk and make sure that you aren't losing those muscles as well. And I think a lot of us, especially during the COVID pandemic, we were stuck in our houses. We weren't going out. And now it's like we're free. We're allowed to go out. But, oh, wait, we've all put on a little weight and didn't do as much activity. So now it's that slow walk up and trying to get, back into a little bit better shape. And like you're saying, keep it for life instead of going on this constant roller coaster of up and down of activity.
Well, when you talk too about, just briefly, so my degree it's called Health, Fitness, and Preventative and Rehabilitative Programs. And so part of the focus was, how do you help to prevent people from getting to a situation where they need to go through rehab and all that other stuff. And this applies, that the concepts that we studied apply to people who just want to get a little bit stronger. And all that to say that one thing that we looked at was, if you're over 60 and you have family who come to visit you, and you get up to help them, you get up to get somebody a glass of water. And the tendency is for them, because they love you, to say, no, sit down, we'll get everything for you. But you, person over 60, need to remember that time that you get up to serve people is a great opportunity for you to get more exercise, doing something that you enjoy, because you probably love serving your family, right? You probably love helping to cook a meal for somebody or get water or whatever. All of those count towards exercise and help you get stronger. And in my opinion, you should be like, no, I got it. Sit down. I want to do this for you.
Yeah. And I think too, like you're saying, if you stay active, my grandpa just turned 90. He's a farmer. He stayed extremely active, and he's still throwing, bags of seed over his shoulder and walking. And it is a tendency of us to go, wait, we'll help you, especially you're out of blood thinner, I'm going to come help you. But in reality, that's what's keeping him going, is because he has kept up on it all these years.
Yeah. If just pause for a second too and talk about how, so your body, the connective tissue in your body, this is some of the updated science with this. So the connective tissue in your body is interwoven with, I'll oversimplify, with your brain. And so when people stop moving, if you're over 60 and you've stopped moving and maybe you're having more mental fog or you're not feeling as happy as you did before, it's very important to know that the tension in your connective tissue and how you use your body can actually help stimulate your brain to feel better. If you feel better in your brain, you'll tend to move more. And so it's somewhere in there, you gotta get in there and do what you said, your grandpa? Mm-hmm. So do what your grandpa did, which is just find a way to keep moving, and it creates a cyclical positive effect.
And I think we found too, so, I'm going to stick to the grandparents today. So if I go visit my grandma, try to do something active, or I'll get out with my parents and go for a walk or a bike ride. Try to do those family activities that you are picking something active, and it's good for all of you guys to get out together. It's a nice bonding experience, but at the same time, it's healthy for the entire family.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what types of exercises could you do if you are already injured? Say injuries we normally see, like a rotator cuff tear. Does that mean you just have to sit down and rest? Like a lot of patients want to sit in a chair and kind of baby that, but in reality, you want to keep moving, correct?
Yeah. So I think it can, I want to be careful when it comes to giving people exercises to do specifically for your shoulder, right? Because there's so many intricacies of exercise. So if you can't figure out a form of upper body exercise that feels good, if you have specifically a rotator tear or something that you're prepping for, then anytime you get your body moving at all, even going for a walk, you're going to naturally do a little bit of swinging with your arms. Every time you reach overhead to grab a cupboard, if you stay within your range of motion where you still feel pretty good, if you're prepping for surgery or have an injury or whatever, any of that movement within a pain-free range of motion will work on strengthening. And so if you can get involved with some kind of a structured yoga or something like that is really good. But if you are living with some discomfort and you want to increase the intensity of your exercise, doing something simple like walking up a hill, or doing something, if you do a lot of walking forwards, if you spend some time walking backwards, that backwards walking is going to work different muscles than walking forward. Walking sideways. These are all things that you can do instead of squats, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable when they do squats. But literally finding a hill, riding a bike is a great exercise. If you want to get really intense and you push-pull sleds, you can do that. My oldest person is 89. He's in great shape. He does hammer slams. We actually have a lot of our 60 and over population do boxing. So they can, some people like shadow boxing, but the act of putting on gloves and doing some air punching can be exciting for your brain and help your body. And then the thing that I'll mention about ab exercise, 'cause a lot of times people think about doing crunches, is that if someone's going to do a crunch or a sit-up, remember that you are getting your core stronger, but you're also rolling your upper body forward. So you're strengthening your body's position to be in a hunch position. So one of the best things that you can add to your exercise program is laying on your stomach and spending some time looking at the ceiling, or just lifting and going the opposite direction. And then brisk walking will open up your hips to get your hips stronger. I know I just threw a lot at you, but is there a condensed version of that you're looking for?
No, that's perfect. And I think too, we have to remember that, the whole body, it's interconnected, right? So a lot of times it's like, you may be feeling something somewhere, but in reality, it might be coming from somewhere else in your body. Like I'll often find that, my posture is slumped and I'm, sitting over a computer. And as soon as I go like this, I can feel it, but I'm also feeling it in my lower back, because it's all interconnected. So I think making those slight little movements.
So I guess we'll pause on that for a second too. And bring up the point that if you're over 60 listening to this, the older philosophy, and when I say older, I mean like 10 years ago, right? So not that long ago. The older philosophy was that if you have shoulder discomfort, that you work all on the shoulder, and that's what you focus on. But the connective tissue, that's not muscle, there's a connective tissue called fascia. There's a line that connects from your wrist all the way down to your shoulder, down your back, down your hips, and into your left or right foot. And so when you get movement in your feet, that can help to give some length to that entire connective tissue line. So think about, like, if I have the shirt on this side, if I pull on this side, it's going to affect this side of my shoulder. If this thing is tightened down, I can get a tight shoulder, but if I loosen even this side of the shirt, it can help this whole thing to work better. So yeah, when you're talking about reiterating what you were saying, if you've got some shoulder discomfort, if you can get even your feet and ankles moving better, that is actually a huge benefit.
Very nice. So the song of your head is connected to the neck bone, it's actually real.
Nice.
So they were teaching us good things, I guess. So.
Yep.
So perfect, Nate. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I guess one more part that I'll throw out there. So your hands and feet are huge nerve centers for the rest of your body. And so if you've been wearing restrictive shoes for a very long time, and especially if you notice that your toes are crumpled up, there's all these nerve endings in the bottoms of your feet that aren't working as well as they should, and they're not picking up information from your surroundings. And so that matters, because if your nerves in the bottom of your feet aren't working, then it can't appropriately strengthen your knees and hips, low back, when you walk. And so if you find that your feet are very tight or your hands are very tight, the act of massaging your hands and feet will actually help literally everything in your body. So if you've got shoulder discomfort, making sure that your hands are mobile and that you do stuff like this and massaging them regularly will actually help your shoulders heal.
That's very interesting. I actually did not know that. So you learn something new every day, right?
Hey.
Hey. Well, thanks for coming on today, Nate. We really appreciate it.
It's good being here.
Thank you very much. So this is your sign, everybody, to get out there and be a little more active today. Park your car 10 spots further away or take the stairs, whatever it's going to take. We hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of us at AmeriStaff Nursing Services, 248-288-2270, or you can get a hold of Nate. I believe you have a website if you want to share it with us.
Yeah, just wellfitlife.org, and we try to share a lot of information on our social media if people need just quick tips and stuff to help them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful day.
My name is Greg Jamian, and I bring you our series on boomer health so we can explore together important healthcare topics impacting the baby boomer generation today. As a home health professional for over 40 years, I'm happy to share my team's knowledge as baby boomers seek answers to difficult healthcare questions. This show provides valuable resources, ideas and tips, and cutting-edge solutions that will improve your everyday life and health. Don't forget to join us for all the other shows in our Boomer Health at Home series.